Yo, spin up the block like Beyblade. Make man race that take it. Took train up the Western Railway and sat in the spot for a payday. Made it, don't move lately. We jack man like Hugh on the daily. Part of the pay grade. Hit K's like Ray J, UK, but we got AKs.
Alright, what's good, y'all boys? Welcome back. And today I'm going to be showing y'all my process and how I find, chop, and flip samples into placement ready loops. So let's get straight into it. Alright, so firstly, there's really no rules to this. There's so many different ways to go about finding and chopping samples, but what I'm about to show y'all is just kind of how I personally do them, and hopefully you guys can take something from that and apply it into your own methods to how you want to do it. Alright y'all, so at the moment I mainly use two methods to finding samples. The first is pretty standard and it's super easy. It's YouTube. I literally just type in, like, you can type in dark samples search and you'll find these different playlists where you can just kind of go through and choose what you want for real. So when you're looking for a sample, obviously you have your own taste that you would want, but try not to look for something that's too perfect, because it's very rare, at least in my opinion, that you'll just come across something that's super perfect instantly and just you'll use that and it'll end up being a hit. A lot of the times you're gonna have to end up sitting down and digging for sometimes hours to find what you want. And if you don't find exactly what you want, if you save some samples that sound decently okay to you, you can actually turn those into crazy flips. I've done this so many times, and I think it's really just a matter of having an ear for it and just practice as well. Like, just keep practicing, keep making loops, and eventually you'll get better at it. Alright, so now we're gonna get into some sauce, because the song that y'all actually heard in the beginning, like, this is the song right here, and this is what I sampled. And I actually found this from just going through YouTube randomly, and you can see here that YouTube, it actually recommends you a bunch of options over here in the mix section, similar to like what you want. So it kind of learns your style and learns what you like to go through, and it gives you recommendations based on that. So definitely make sure to check out the mix section on YouTube, because you can definitely find some cool stuff here. Alright, so moving on to the second method that I use at the moment, which is Samplet. And I know a lot of y'all probably know about this, but if you don't, Samplet is a dope website where you can just kind of randomly generate samples from all over YouTube and just use them in your beats. You have this random button here, you can just click through and just samples pop up just like that. So I actually have this preset that I use a lot that y'all can copy. And by the way, fun fact, this is actually the preset that I found the BMF sample by Nem. So this is some sauce right here, so make sure y'all copy this. And yeah, that's really Samplet. Couldn't be simpler. Alright, enough yapping, time to get into FL and break down the loop. So first I'm gonna play out what it sounds like, and then I'm gonna show y'all how I did it. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I literally just take the sample that I downloaded and I just kind of listen to it. And as I'm listening to it, I'm just trying to figure out parts to loop in my head. So for example, with this one, that's already a part I like. So you see what I'm doing? So I'm just kind of listening and trying to find the parts to loop. So part I ended up taking was this part right here, and just kind of bringing it right back. Alright, so after I got all the pieces that I like, what I do to get it on time, which is kind of strange, because honestly I haven't seen anyone else do this before besides me. But so it's called tempo tapping. And here in FL, if you right click the tempo and you hit tempo tapper, you can actually, you know, tap it to the tempo that you want. So for this loop at the time, I was just kind of listening to it and just, you know, hitting the tempo, and eventually what ended up happening was the sweet spot for me for this sample was right about at 152 BPM. And as y'all can see, it was just on time enough for me to do exactly what I needed to do. Okay, so everything that I used in the entire loop was from 1 to 9, so about 8 bars. After I cut out the parts that I liked, I just kind of restructured them. So I took this part right here, cut it out, and I took this last part from the beginning. That's it, and I just basically just looped that for 8 bars. I added the switch up at the end, which was, I believe, this part right here. 5. So I basically just kind of made my own little version by just chopping up different parts and rearranging it. And you can see you don't even need to do too much because I only really used the intro for this loop. I didn't even use any of the vocals. So alright y'all, so the next thing that I did was I added the Piano V Black Forest bass, and if you keep up with the vids, you know this is one of my favorite piano basses. I use it on a lot of my loops, and this is what it sounds like. Alright, so with everything put together, with the intro, the chops, and the bass, this is what we got. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what else y'all want to see down in the comments below. So I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.